Hi guys, it's me Megan, your favourite podcaster. Today I'm going to be introducing to you a book called Framed by James Ponti. By the end of this podcast today, these questions will be answered. You know what TOAST stands for in this book? You'll know how Florian Bates figures out a major heist in a gallery. And you'll know who Florian's friend Margaret's birth parents are. In this book, Florian Bates comes to Washington, D.C. and meets a girl, Margaret, from his street. Margaret tests Florian using toast with their neighbours' houses and thought it was insanely cool and wanted to learn it. Florian took Margaret to the National Gallery and decided to train her with toast there with the paintings and the people, and found a suspicious-looking man sleeping on a couch. They went there again and found a copyist in a room painting woman with a parasol, except that it was the same man from the day before, but posing as a totally different man. A major theft happened at the museum, and Florian arrived at the scene with his dad, who was called to check out the theft. Florian told the agents what he knew about the suspicious man, and after looking at the paintings, figured out where the paintings were. He was invited to the FBI headquarters to be thanked by the director along with Margaret. Florian met the Admiral, and the Admiral was amazed by the 12-year-old boy. He was also invited to work with the FBI as a secret agent. Margaret proposed a mystery for Florian to solve, who her birth parents were. The next day, they went to the museum to look for more clues and thought woman with a parasol was a fake. So Florian's mum was going to do some tests on it. Meanwhile, they went to the firefighters to get information from them about Margaret's birth parents when she first arrived there. An agent called Agent Rivers brought him to training at the headquarters the next day. Florian went to watch Margaret at her soccer league, and the bad suspect Nick the Knife was there. Agent Rivers thought that Nick the Knife was there for information about Florian, but he was actually there to see Margaret play soccer. Florian was kidnapped on the Safeway by Nick the Knife and realized, because of his tattoos, that he was Margaret's real birth father. The main character in this story is, of course, Florian Bates. He's really good at spotting details in everyday lives by using toast. And P.S., he is smarter than the FBI. His best friend Margaret, really energetic, and she really loves learning toast. Kind of bossy, but in the good way. There's actually a contrast between these two characters. Florian is very calm and Margaret is extremely energetic. It's sort of like a contrast that different personalities would group together to form such a great detective team. There's of course Agent Rivers. He is a kind-hearted FBI agent. He helps train Florian and gives off a feeling that he's always gonna be there for you. Kayla, Florian's trainer at the FBI. It's like Taylor Swift said, "I'm a nightmare just like a daydream." Nick the Knife, Margaret's real birth father and a member of the mafia syndicate Eel. And finally, Oliver Hobbs, works for the insurance company, but don't be fooled, he won't look so nice at the end. Can you guess why? The main setting in this book is of course the National Gallery, because it is where Florian uses toast to locate the stolen paintings, though at night it's really creepy. The FBI headquarters, where Florian gets trained with Kayla and gets congratulated by the director. It's so cool. Like, imagine getting congratulated for completing a case and by the director of the FBI himself. Isn't that cool? The fire station, where Florian and Margaret try to get information from the firefighters about Margaret's birth parents. And finally, the safe way, where Florian gets kidnapped by Nick the Knife. Maybe not so safe after all. So what is toast exactly? Toast is the theory of all small things. It's like a sort of critical thinking that focuses on detailed parts of something that people don't usually notice. Toast is extremely important in this book because Florian Bates uses toast to figure out how the paintings were stolen and who Margaret's birth parents were. It's like a huge part of this book since it's what makes it so special and like what makes it interesting and exciting. I love this book because it explains like a daily life happening, like going to the museum, just looking at paintings, looking at some people, and then it suddenly becomes like a huge event, like when Florian and Margaret notice the man and the copiers posing as different people, and then being a gigantic heist that includes the FBI and some mafia syndicates called the Eel and like suspects and Nick the Knife, and like turns into something huge and ginormous. Margaret is by far my favorite character because she is extremely and unnaturally bright, and she is always willing to learn, like when she did with Toast. My favorite thing about her is because her favorite word is epic. I don't know why, I just really love how she says, "Oh my god, this is epic." I mean, this is her favorite word, and I don't know why, but I love it. So we've talked a lot about toast and how it's kind of like critical thinking. So what is critical thinking itself? It means like a person is able to clarify his or her thinking so that he or she can break down a problem or a piece of information which links up to framed. Florian uses critical thinking to break down a problem like the stolen paintings and look at the details, like the inches of how big the paintings are and like where they can fit into. If you want to get better at critical thinking, you should consider these tips: clarifying, questioning, identifying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. All these skills and attributes need to work together for your critical thinking to be effective and actually work. Just like Florian in Framed, he cracked the National Gallery case by using his super skills of critical thinking, by questioning the source of the information given, by identifying the motivations and putting himself in the thief's perspective or position, and analyzing how the thief would have done it if he was the thief. And, of course, thinking out of the box. So how did Florian crack the case with the National Gallery art? The stolen art was the dance class by Edgar Degas. Its inches are 18 3/4 times 24.5. Girl in White, Vincent van Gogh, 26 1/4 times 18 1/16. And finally, The Child with Toys by Auguste Renoir, 21 3/8 times 24.75. They're all about the same size to fit into a trash bag. So that's how the thief, the suspicious man, was carrying them around the museum without people noticing. It's like he gets the frame, he puts it in the trash bag and just walks around, and then he puts it in a trash bag and chucks it into the trash box where the garbage truck will pick it up for him, and the thief will be waiting at the garbage disposal for the paintings to arrive there. The next mystery is Nick the Nice Tattoos and how Florian figured out that he was Margaret's father. So there were lots of information throughout his tattoos, but the two most important is a flower tattoo and a 24/7 tattoo. 24/7 is the European style of writing 24th of July, which is actually Margaret's real birthday. And the Romanian word for daisy is Margareta, Margaret A. The words which were written on her blanket when she was taken in by the firefighters, revealing that he is Margaret's birth parents. I'll give this book a rating of 10 out of 10, of course. I'm just giving out a bonus point because it's a mystery book and I love mystery books. I love how people just solve them and creates like an image in my head. 6, because it creates a great tense feeling that I always look for in mystery books. It like gives me like the, oh my god, what is he gonna do? How does he steal it? And I love guessing like how the thief does it before I read how the thief actually does it. Sometimes I do the wrong answer, but sometimes it doesn't really matter because it's like supposed to be like a mystery. You're supposed to figure it out. And if the thief didn't do it that way, it doesn't mean that it's not possible that the thief could do it that way. And that's what I love about mystery books, because it's a mystery and you don't know what's going to happen next. 4, because James Ponti uses the idea of critical thinking to be like a huge part of his story, making it extremely successful. Like when we talked about toast and being creative and identifying and clarifying, etc., about critical thinking, James Ponti is really clever that he used the idea of a type of thinking, like critical thinking, to use in his story. Because if I was James Ponti, I would never have known how to do that. I would never have thought, oh, we should probably add critical thinking in our book. Like, that would never have happened to me. And I feel really inspired by how he uses this, like, well-known thing to be, like, sort of a part of his story, which creates the climax and how everything works out in his book. So thanks for listening to my podcast. I hope you listen to all of my podcasts. Stay tuned and I hope to see you on my other podcasts. Bye!